The old man said to have a look at you. So, let's do this. Just have a few swings at me so I can see your form. Don't worry, I can take it.
I've been looking for you. Looks like that's it. Let's go.
Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is IRYENI, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 197 now guys. I've picked off 5 new mods for you guys to check out and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. But like always, before we jump into them, I want to remind you guys that I'm partnered with GamerSupps, which in my opinion is the best energy drink on the market. So if you're looking for a healthier alternative to those gas station energy drinks that are really bad for you, click the link down below and use the code RTD for a 10% discount on all their drinks. I also want to hear from you guys what you think of the flavors that they have, so if you do end up trying it, definitely let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Now we can jump into this week's mods, and starting us off we have the Armor Rating Enchantment mod. Now the mod page reads that this mod adds the enchantment effect called Protection that increases the base armor rating of the article of clothing that the armor is applied to. Now where to actually obtain and learn the enchantment, they've actually changed the black mage's robes and the blue mage's robes. Their enchantment now has a 100-point protection enchantment. And since the vanilla robes themselves have been changed, the altered robes should show up everywhere in loot lists that they showed up before. Now a guaranteed drop of these blue mage's robes that carry the enchantment is at Anissa's cabin across the river from the Guardian Stones. There she has the blue mage's robes so you can kill her and take the clothes and then disenchant them and have it for yourself. Now although the robes in-game have a strength of 100, the base enchantment strength for purposes of enchanting the object yourself has been reduced to 50. Now you may be asking, what's the point of adding this random enchantment that just gives you armor into the game? I feel that this is very useful to enchant on your robes if you're going to be a pure mage, and you don't have to keep wearing armor everywhere you go if you're playing as a mage. You know, you don't have to keep casting your alteration buff every 60 seconds either, because if you've fully maxed out your enchanting with all the relevant perks and using a grand soul gem, it should produce a value of 125 armor rating at skill 100. That means you can keep your robes on even whenever you're going into battle, and you'll actually have an armor rating so that you won't get killed pretty fast. I just feel as though if you're playing as a pure mage and you have a full set of robes on, you should be able to be protected as well from the armor enchantment that's been added by this mod. But this doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone else in Skyrim, so if you stumble across a bandit camp that has a bandit mage, be careful because his armor rating might be a little higher than what you're used to. So if you're playing as a true mage but keep dying because your robes aren't giving you enough protection, then the armor rating enchantment is definitely a mod I'd recommend downloading, and that's why it's featured here at our number 5 spot, so I'd recommend checking it out and adding it to your mage playthrough. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have a really interesting mod called the Ancient Guardians. Now the mod page reads, before the dawn of man, the lands were ruled by the ancient race of beings, taller than a mammoth and twice as aggressive. These beings of old are colossal in size and pack a mighty punch. As soon as the dragons have come to life, these old creatures were disturbed from their millennia slumber. Found south of Iverstead in the woods and mountains, there lies an old race of beings that seek to protect their old lands. They're known as the Ancient Guardians. Like I said, they're colossal in size, and as vicious as a saber cat, they guard their lands of old. Now, not only are they found just in Iverstead, they're also found in the mountain pass to the east of the Throat of the World, and through the Whiterun tundra to Labyrinthian. There's 2 types of Colossus in this mod. There's one that's skeletal, which is just the skeletal Colossus, and then the other, which is the Forgotten Draugr Colossus. I find this mod to be so interesting because they tried to tie lore into it with this mod, but it doesn't really make too much sense. I just really downloaded the mod because the giant skeletons and giant Draugr are really dangerous, and it's just a really fun creature to fight and stumble across in your travels. Now there really isn't much else to say about the mod other than the fact that it adds 2 giant creatures into the game, one being a giant skeleton and one a giant Draugr, that are very powerful and very dangerous to stumble across at a low level, but they are fun to take down, and it's like a little mini boss fight that you can have whenever you're out on your travels. So if you maybe have a bunch of difficulty mods installed and you want to make the game even more difficult, the Ancient Guardians is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out, because it's a lot of fun taking down these Ancient Guardians, and just seeing how big they are whenever you stumble across them is just pretty funny and just terrifying as well at the same time. It's also very satisfying when you take down a skeleton colossus, because their bones just go flying in every direction, which is also very awesome, and that's definitely why it comes in at a number 4 spot. So I'd recommend downloading the Ancient Guardians and taking on these new boss fights yourself. Coming in at a number 3 spot, we have a new Whiterun overhaul called IA92's Magical Whiterun. They wanted to make Whiterun magical like Winterhold with this mod, so they've added trees, bushes, flowers, shrubs, mage lights, nocturnal statues, and just a change of the original Whiterun, which is currently missing a lot of detail. Now don't get me wrong, I love Whiterun and how it looked in the vanilla game, and it's always been my favorite city, but it's also been my favorite city to mod and just change in any way that I can. And I've never seen one that goes the magical approach and wants to make it more magical. Everyone else just wants to make it full of life and plants and shrubs, but I've never seen a mage take on Whiterun. So let's dive into a brief tour of everything this mod has to offer and see the new magical Whiterun. Now as you can see, there's a lot of changes with this mod to Whiterun, but not too many in the case that it just completely ruins the original look of Whiterun. I think it still keeps its true beauty, and it comes in at 123.15 kilobytes, so if you're playing as a mage, why wouldn't you download a mod like this? It'll fit into any load order seamlessly and just make your Whiterun so beautiful to look at that you may just want to do your spell learning here, and that's why IA92's Magical Whiterun comes in at our number 3 spot, so I'd recommend downloading it. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have the races of Nirn, Kapo'tun. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. The Kapo'tun are a race of tiger-like catfolk who live in the continent of the Akavir. It is unknown to what extent that they are similar or related to the Khajiit. The features of this mod include a new race to play as, which you can put horns on, found in the browse section. There's also some cool presets that you can choose just to start off with, also a blood effect when hitting with your claws, and a cool racial power called Carnivore Fury. Now, out of all the race mods that I've covered, I've never seen one dive into so much detail as this mod did. You know, you can select the race on the main screen whenever you're creating your character, but the fact that they chose to put different types of beards, as well as horns, and just different types of presets, you can change your eye colors as well. All of these different presets have been preloaded into the game so that you can choose them on your character. Most of the race mods that I've downloaded only allow you to make it look different in like 1 or 2 ways. But this mod sets the standard in terms of customization whenever it comes to race mods. And the textures and sounds and just overall gameplay with the race isn't clunky, and it actually feels like it fits into Skyrim really nicely. So if you're tired of playing as a Khajiit and you want to look a little bit more badass and more tiger-like, then download the Races of Nirn Kapo'tun mod and try it out for yourself, because I can't think of anything more badass than a tiger wielding Daedric armor charging into a bandit camp and just completely wiping it out. So that's definitely why the Races of Nirn comes in at our number 2 spot, so I'd recommend downloading it. Coming in at our number 1 spot, we have a brand new unique player home called Mihail's Toxin Doctor Laboratory. The mod page reads that located in the catacombs of a small abandoned fort in the mountains of Eastmarch, this laboratory is the ideal player home for toxin doctors, dark alchemists, and all kinds of mad scientists, where ethics and morals give room for curiosity and experimentation without limits. Now, toxin doctors are known for their study in the use of toxins. They create poisons, they develop cures for diseases, or use them in a defensive manner. They apply and remove curses and everything that creeps through the realms of pestilence. Formerly acclaimed through Seen with Fear, in times of great plagues they were often the ones who took the front line healing the sick or giving the palliative care to the disillusioned, while protecting themselves in a peculiar leather clothes, designed to give them protection against diseases and poisons. Today, however, in times less afflicted by disease, they are more rare and viewed as suspicion due to their bizarre appearance. and their reclusive life in laboratories day and night, involved deep in research. In particular, the owner of the laboratory was particularly interested in the curse inflicted by Periite on the group of Bretons who would come to be known as the Afflicted. Having housed and studied a couple of them, you can find them guarding the place, in exchange for a promise of healing. The house is located to the right of the Zulf Dwemer ruin, and the proximity to the ruin also aroused the Doctor's curiosity about the functioning of the Dwemer artifacts, which led him to go into the ruin and collect some of these machines for himself. Now, as you can see, this is a very unique looking player home because I've never seen a Toxin Doctor laboratory player home anywhere. You know, this is a first for me, and I really love the idea. The fact that it was built inside of an abandoned fort and it's actually housed next to the Dwemer ruin, it makes it more believable that a doctor wanted to live here because he was fascinated about the Dwemer artifacts, and he also had the abandoned fort that he could build from the ground up and make into his own. So if you're playing as an alchemist, or maybe you want to get deeper in your research away from everybody, then the Mihail's Toxin Doctor Laboratory is definitely a player home I'd recommend downloading, and that's why it's featured here at our #1 spot, so I'd recommend downloading it and being the proud new owner of this laboratory home. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. Or you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter in the description, and you guys can follow me on there and leave me suggestions there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.